when you vibrate a metal plate at a specific frequency? Welcome to a short introduction to the study of the visualization of sound, also known as cymatics. What is sound? Sound involves the ordered vibration of atoms at a certain temperature, exchanging frequency data in space via the collision of neighboring atoms. For instance, this happens when sound travels in the air. An everyday example of vibrations is a ripple in a lake. However, audible sound happens in 3 dimensions and approximately in a spherical manner, similar to a bubble. The pulsations of a sound resemble a wave, but have the form of a bubble, meaning it forms a flexible sphere that expands at the speed of sound. Moreover, each point on the surface of the sound bubble contains the vibrational information of the total sound bubble, displaying what is called holographic properties. So what is a wave? In physics, a wave consists of the propagation of a perturbation of some property in space. For example, density, pressure, electric field, or a magnetic field. It involves the transportation of energy without the transport of matter. Did you hear that? Sound waves belong to a more general group known as mechanical waves, which need a medium to propagate, unlike other types of waves, such as electromagnetic waves. So first, we need to define what is a standing wave in order to understand the effect of sound waves in a medium. So what are standing waves? A standing wave is an oscillatory disturbance in which certain points, called nodes, remain stationary. A standing wave is formed by the interference of 2 waves of the same nature with equal amplitude, wavelength, and frequency, traveling in the opposite direction through a medium. Importantly, standing waves remain confined in a space, such as a string, a tube with air, or on a membrane. Moreover, the amplitude of the oscillation at each point varies over time. Yet the frequency remains the same for all points and coincides with that of the interfering waves. As mentioned earlier, there are points that do not vibrate, called nodes. Those remain motionless and stationary, while others, the bellies or the antinodes, move to a maximum vibrational amplitude and energy, equal to the sum of the interfering waves. So the study of sound waves as a visual phenomena is called cymatics. These cymoscope instruments, invented by John Stuart Reid, represent sound waves in its purest form, regardless of the medium it is traveling through. This is because the medium constrains the sound propagation. And to obtain the dispersion of sound in its purest form, the cymoscope removes any presence of a natural resonance of a medium with electronic filtering, and then shines a light on the vibrating water to reveal the stationary wave pattern corresponding to that sound. This allows for a more accurate and reliable analysis of sound. In other words, without the influence of the medium in which it is propagating. To learn more about the science of cymatics and its applications, have a look at the links that are in the description below. Thanks for watching.
Description. What's up, Mike? Description of because I showed that one geometrical pattern through sound waves on the last live stream, and I wanted to give a more scientific definition, but I'm not good at speaking about this stuff or doing videos, so I found that one, And I thought actually it was a little technically deep, but it gave a basic understanding for if you have a scientific mind of how sound makes geometric forms. And that was the explanation of it. But let's go on to some fun stuff. I found this, and it just blew me away. This isn't fun, actually. This is historical. It's a little 30-second thing. Sky News Australia. This is actually pretty badass. Let me turn the volume up for you guys.
Church has been lifted 14 metres to make space for an office built in the City of London. The 700-year-old Tower of All Hallows staining has been raised on temporary support so construction can...
Look at that. This is like a 700-year-old church that they are lifting up 14 meters so they can build a skyscraper around it. I was like, wow.
Continue beneath it. The landmark will be integrated into a new development.
I mean, look at that. The church is above these guys' heads, just sitting there on these pillars. An ancient freaking church, 800-year-old church, suspended in midair. I find this cool.
Built in 1320, it's the last remnant of a church largely destroyed in the Great Fire of London in 1666.
I just found that amazing. Oh, right on. Well, hey, at least they're giving you a little entertainment since you're throwing your tax dollar towards Florida, Mike. Let's see, what else do we have here? That was just cool. This is some fun stuff here, dude. Look at makes honey. Oh yeah, here we go. I like these guys. They're fun. It's Stormtrooper Vlogs. Give them a thumbs up. These guys are funny. It's a parody of Star Wars.
Today, me and Greg's dumbass are getting sent on a mission to track down this baby green-looking fellow.
This is what we're risking our lives for?
All right, guys, we're getting the ship ready to go hunt down baby green dude. Greg's already slowing us down.
These things are heavier than they look, okay?
If this thing even makes it out of the hangar, it'll be a miracle. So, guys, apparently this little green dude is somewhere on this planet.
Great, whole planet to search for one baby. This will be fun.
Yeah, we're doomed. All right, we're on our way to the planet. Greg, put some music on the radio.
Yeah, this is the first good part of the mission.
All right, guys, we're landing on the planet. Greg, what did you touch? Oh,
I thought it was the landing gear.
yeah, you're an idiot.
Nailed it.
All right, guys, we landed, kinda. Ship's a little banged up.
Still good.
Yeah, sure, still good. So remember, we're looking for a little adorable green-looking dude. Apparently, he's been causing some trouble in this area.
Yeah, how much trouble can a baby really cause?
Guess we're about to find out.
Yeah.
All right, guys, looks like we found something. Tiny footprints. Got to be the little green dude.
Yeah, unless there's some other baby wandering around the woods.
Yep, we're definitely close. Guys, so the footprints lead into this cave.
Yeah, nothing ever good happens in caves.
Well, here we go. Guys, looks like someone's been camping here.
Yeah, this doesn't exactly scream baby setup.
Whoever it is, they're still close. Oh, crap, that's not Baby Yoda. Yeah, that thing does not look adorable.
Open fire! Why does it move like that?
All right, guys. I think we got the creature. Yeah, it looks pretty dead to me. Okay, now let's find that little green guy.
Guys, we were wrong. He's still alive. Yeah, next time you say we got him, I'm double checking. We need to move before that thing comes out.
Greg's down. We need backup. This was a bad idea.
Oh no, who's that in the distance?
I think it's him.
What the? He's floating. No way.
That wasn't us.
Guys, it's him. Oh shit. I think he fainted from using his powers.
All right, guys, he's out cold. We got to get him back to the ship and take care of him.
Yeah, poor little guy used everything he had.
No time to waste. Let's move. All right, hopefully this helps the little dude.
Yeah, we're officially babysitters now.
Hey, little dude, you're awake. Guess he's feeling a little better. Oh, come on. First thing he does is steal our food?
Dude, he's so
Bro, can we just keep him? Like, seriously, what if Vader hurts him?
Oh, yeah, Vader does not deserve this little guy. All right, if we're keeping him, he needs a name.
Yeah, but what do you even call a little green wizard baby?
Okay, hear me out. Timmy.
Timmy?
Simple, cute, totally not suspicious.
All right. Timmy it is.
Welcome to the squad, Timmy.
All right, we need a plan. How the hell are we going to hide him from Vader?
I don't know, man. Vader senses everything. He's like the galaxy's nosiest roommate.
Maybe we keep him in the storage bay? Or say he's just a pet we found?
Yeah, hey, Lord Vader, don't mind the tiny green sorcerer baby eating cookies in the corner. That'll go great.
All right, guys, we just landed back at the Death Star. Now we got to figure out how to sneak Timmy past everyone without getting caught. All right, Timmy, listen. If anyone sees you out there, we're done for. So you got to get inside this backpack.
Yeah, just climb in, little dude. Nice and cozy. Nobody's gonna suspect a thing.
All right, guys, so far so good. Timmy's in the pack. No one suspects a thing.
Timmy, bro, please cooperate.
Yep, nothing unusual here. All right, guys, we made it. Time to get Timmy out. Yeah, he's way too cute to be locked up in a backpack. All right, guys, new plan. We're setting up a secret little area for Timmy right next to my bed. Morning, guys. Timmy made it through his first night here.
Man, he's still asleep? Lucky little dude doesn't have patrol duty.
Yeah, Vader can never find out about this. All right, Timmy, we're heading out to grab some food. We'll bring you some, too.
Yeah, but you gotta stay hidden, buddy. Just in case.
Perfect. Hold tight, Timmy. We'll be back soon. Man, I don't know if Timmy's gonna like the food here.
Yeah, all we've got is protein cubes and that weird soup. Doesn't exactly scream baby friendly. This looks like straight shit, not gonna lie. Yeah, and we are supposed to feed this to Timmy? Man, he is not gonna forgive us for this.
All right, guys, we got the food. Not proud of it, but it's all they had.
Yeah, Timmy's gonna take one look at this and probably force throw it back at us.
Honestly, I don't blame him. All right, Timmy, here's dinner. Not sure you'll like it.
I guess he liked it. Yeah, dude ate like he hasn't seen food in weeks. Well, at least we know cafeteria slop works for Timmy.
Hey, guys, just checking in. Yeah, Lord Vader. Everything's totally normal here.
Good. I expect nothing less from my troopers.
What's this? Oh, just extra gear, Lord Vader. Blankets, storage stuff, you know, supplies. Very well.
All right, guys, we just got a new mission on Naboo. We've got to head out, and yeah, we're taking Timmy with us.
Yeah, no way we're leaving him behind.
All right, time to move.
Oh, great.
Just break a fundamental law of physics. This is what the headline said. Let's have a look. Before we talk about graphene, a big thank you to all my supporters, especially those of you in Patreon tiers 4 and higher. Without your help, I wouldn't be able to bring science news to you. If you want to join the community, you can do so on Patreon or right here on YouTube. But now let's talk about graphene. Graphene is a sort of miracle material that scientists have studied intensively since its discovery 20 years ago. It's made of a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in a honeycomb pattern, like a sheet of chicken wire basically, but just one atom thick. Despite being amazingly light and flexible, graphene is exceptionally strong and conducts electricity and heat better than most other materials. Its discovery won a Nobel Prize in 2010, and it's been said to give us everything from faster electronics to better batteries and advanced sensors. Graphene has been the future of technology for 2 decades now, so at this point it's starting to look like German airport construction. I think it's fair to say it's been somewhat overhyped. But what's new? Well, according to the new press release, not only did graphene break a fundamental law, the researchers have also, for the first time, observed electrons in graphene behaving like a nearly perfect quantum fluid. This, the press release says, makes graphene an ideal low-cost platform for investigating concepts from high-energy physics and astrophysics, such as black hole thermodynamics and entanglement entropy scaling. Well, wow. That sounds impressive. But what did they actually do? The headlines are about a team from the Indian Institute of Science who just published a new paper in Nature Physics. They report that they measured how charge and heat move in ultra-clean graphene and found a huge mismatch with what metals usually do. In normal metals, the conductivity and the heat transfer follow a relation known as the Wiedemann-Franz law. This is because normally the electrons carry both electric charge and heat, so the ratio of thermal conductivity to electrical conductivity is proportional to the temperature. However, the electrons in graphene don't behave this way. Rather, they behave like an almost perfect fluid called a Dirac fluid. It has extremely small viscosity, as small as theoretically possible. Loosely speaking, the reason is because the electrons interact more strongly than in ordinary metals. This supposedly fundamental law, therefore, simply isn't fundamental. It's an effective, a derived, approximate relation that works for most metals, and it just doesn't work for graphene. Physicists understand reasonably well why. You simply wouldn't expect this law to even apply. So much about this. How new is it? The brief summary is it isn't new because it's been measured before. Indeed, it's interesting to look at what they write in the paper as opposed to the press release. In the paper, they write that a material like graphene naturally violates the Wiedemann-Franz law and that several experimental reports on the breakdown of the Wiedemann-Franz law have provided valuable insights into the formation of a Dirac fluid. So what then is new? The new thing is that they have used an extremely clean version of graphene with very few defects that shows this effect particularly strongly. That improves a lot on previous measurements. It's a fine experiment, really, but it doesn't rewrite physics textbooks. What's with the talk about testing black holes? This refers to a type of quantum simulation known as analog gravity. This basically means that small fluctuations in this electron fluid in the graphene behave similar to how the quanta of light behave near black holes, or so we think. It's basically a customizable model. However, to use this simulation, you must assume that the mathematics is the same. You can't use it to demonstrate that they are the same. Also, I've worked on analog gravity for some while, and I can tell you that the maths isn't even all that similar, which is why I don't work on it anymore, because I don't think we'll learn anything from it. In summary, I give this paper a 1 out of 10 on the bullshit meter. I think it's a nice experiment. It's not a 0 because I'm not qualified to judge on how good their measurements are, and I'd like to see an independent confirmation for this spectacularly large violation of the law. But I give the press release a 10 out of 10 on the bullshit meter. This press release was almost certainly either written by one of the authors of the paper or at least approved by them, which makes this a good example for why I don't trust scientists. Or maybe the real experiment here was how far you can stretch a headline before it snaps. Problems. I'm sure you have a few. But problem solving is a skill you can train, just like any other. I found that a simple and effective way to do this is with Brilliant. Brilliant offers courses on a large variety of topics in science, computer science, and mathematics.
a huge speech in front of the UN. And among the hour-long speech of a lot of the points about America, foreign policy, trade, and all of that, there are two main things that really stuck out, and it's causing a firestorm. And part of it is within this white hat operation that a lot of us have been talking about for a long time. So let's discuss those 2 points and some of the other conspiracy-esque type things, as there have been lots of drops as well as other nuances to the references to Q and other things. So let's talk about it. And one of the biggest things he's mentioned is with regards to migration, immigration, and the legal movement of the Western civilization, and that a lot of these countries have enabled and funded the movement of people, the illegal migration of people, and that they had stopped this in America, but it's a problem for the rest of the nation, and specifically on even trafficking. He's talking about fighting cartels, gangs, and traffickers, having lost over 300,000 children, but 30,000 were returned to their families. So there's a lot of, I don't want to say allegations, but a lot of strong language. And he even mentioned like your countries are going to hell, and it's not good for those countries.
Hey, I'm Adam Sandoval. I've done a lot of riding around the country right alongside my friends, the Law Tigers. And when I ended up...
And one thing he mentioned was bioweapons. So let's take a look at a quick clip of him talking about this.
Be no United Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it can be put to tremendous use and tremendous good. And this would be an example of that. Not only is the UN not solving the problem it should too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States. And then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them.
So this is absolutely huge. And I want to just quickly read what BioClandestine said about this. I don't think people realize the earth-shattering magnitude of what just happened. Trump just stood in front of the UN General Assembly and told them all to their faces that they must stop making biological weapons. This means Trump knows COVID was a man-made bioweapon, which means he knows who is responsible for making COVID, which means someone is responsible for crimes against humanity. What has been one of the most talked about subjects at the UN since Feb 2022, U.S. bioweapon development at U.S. USAID funded biolabs around the world, most notably Ukraine. Russia have been talking about the need for investigations into U.S. bioweapon development for years now at the UN and have been ignored and vetoed by the U.S. every single time. This specifically named Obama, Clinton, Biden, Soros of being the main ideologues of this plot. Trump's DNI Gabbard has been all over this since the jump, and she has told us back in May that she's been working with RFK Jr., Patachara, and Radcliffe to look into the origins of COVID, and she specifically mentioned the biolabs in Ukraine multiple times. Trump knows the truth about COVID, and it sounds like he's getting closer to telling the public. Now, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I know there's an operation. I know that the white hats are working. I know that we are trying to expose and uncover, and people need to be assimilated into the fold. And this is what this whole information warfare, this whole movement to the truth is about. And he also mentioned about the UN not performing, not delivering results. And in fact, they're going against it. They're spending needless money on corruption. They're also being scammed by the energy and the climate hoax. And they're perpetuating this narrative, and that all of this needs to stop. These are big, big allegations. And I don't even want to say allegations, but for me, I believe it's the truth, except that people, for whatever reason, in these countries, they're perpetuating this lie and all of these things. And he specifically mentioned the attacks on free speech and Christianity, religious liberty, national sovereignty, heritage, and tradition, that each nation must protect their borders, culture, and citizens' dreams. So he's talking about independence. He's talking about nationalism. He's talking about going against the global world order.
Oh, man. Good morning, everyone. Just woke up, ready to start the day. Let me show you where I slept. Didn't sleep in my usual cabin last night. Felt signs of humans getting too close. Safer to keep moving when the forest feels off. This is how I keep my teeth clean. You just take a pine cone and scrub. Look at that shine. Starting the day with a good squat really limbers up these old forest gams. Gets the sap flowing. It's a good day to be out and moving. The forest feeling just right. Let me show you around. Mornings like this are my favorite time to explore. Thinking about skunk for breakfast. You know, they've got that nice crunch and a little bit of a zesty aftertaste. Getting sprayed by one of these is a nightmare. Not looking to repeat that experience. Gonna use this rock to sharpen this stick into a spear. Too risky to get close to a skunk without some distance. Always keep a sharp edge. Easier to hunt. Always use long, even strokes. Keep the pressure consistent. You want a good, sharp point. Good, strong strokes. When sharpening stick, always scrape away from self. Got to keep moving. That skunk can't hide forever. I'll find him. I found the skunk nearby. I'm waiting for the right moment. The skunk! He sprayed me! I didn't even get close. It's been 3 days and the skunk smell just won't go away. I've tried everything. This is awful. I'm gonna mix these into a natural remedy to deal with that skunk smell. So I've got my pine needles, some leaves, these lovely red berries, and a bit of mud. This makes a great odor neutralizing paste. This forest remedy should pull out the skunk stink and reset my natural scent. While the mixture dries, it's important to stay still and let the forest do its work. Quick dip to rinse off, and now I feel fresh and ready for the day. Creatures are slow and easy to catch. This one didn't put up much of a fight. All right, so found this little guy munching on my breakfast berries. What do you reckon I should do with him? He's kind of cute. You're lucky my pet wolf Lobo ain't here. He loves possum. You'd be a goner. Whoa, check that out. Way up there in that big pine, looks like we got ourselves a beehive. Fresh honey, here I come. When climbing, always check for loose bark. Good grip. Whew. Halfway there. Can already hear the bees. All right, folks, when you're after that sweet wild honey, always approach the hive calmly from downwind. Bees are less likely to get agitated that way. Oh, that honey was amazing. Full of antioxidants, helps with allergies. Look who decided to show up. It's Talon, probably drawn in by all the critters in this area. Today, Talon's going to give us a bird's eye view of this amazing forest. Talon here caught a couple of rabbits for me this morning. Pretty good hunter, this one. All right, so the first step to making fire with a bow drill, get your hearth board ready. You see that little notch? That's where the magic's gonna happen. Patience is key when you're building a good cooking fire. You can't rush it. When you've skinned as many rabbits as I have, it's like taking off a glove. Slow and slow is the secret. Don't rush the flame. Patience makes good rabbit. Cooked rabbit on a fire. Tasty. All right, feeling good. Got some rest, had a good meal. Time to head back to the cabin. Well, hold on, I think someone might have been through here recently. I think a human just came through here. Look at this footprint. I'm really worried. This kind of activity screams human. I thought building my cabin out here would be remote enough to avoid all this. This area isn't safe right now. Lobo, get lost. Go, boy. There's definitely someone there. And from the look of the uniform, it's a ranger. This is a huge issue. I'm going to circle around and come up with a plan. This call should draw the ranger away from the cabin. Deeper into the forest, he'll be easier to deal with. So simple setup, he'll come along, not see it, and whoop, right in. He won't know what hit him. Perfect. Where am I? What happened? So yeah, this is kind of where we're at now, I guess. Not ideal, I know. So I had to take this from the park ranger. It's for safety.
Help me! Somebody help me, please! Oh, God.
I can't just let the ranger go right here. I need to buy myself time to clear out, disappear, protect what's left.
This is a national park. You cannot build here. I was sent to check an illegal cabin in these woods.
It is time for you to go downriver. You will never speak of this encounter to other humans.
Well, folks, Ranger Rick here wasn't too keen on my sustainable foraging tips. The ranger should be fine. There is a 100-foot waterfall drop just upriver. Probably nothing to worry about. Okay, I'll see you on the next one.
This little guy packs a big punch. It's the size of a walnut and can release the same energy as 2,000 liters of diesel. Not bad for a rock. With so much power comes great responsibility. For as fission reactions take place, the uranium fuel is slowly transforming into roughly 1/3 of the periodic table as solids and gases. These are the radioactive fission products that make nuclear waste dangerous, and they must be permanently contained. So beyond generating heat, the fuel needs to trap the fission products in place. In FCM fuel, millimeter-sized bits of uranium are trapped in tiny ceramic pressure vessels that can withstand extreme temperatures and radiation. These particles are then encased within a fully dense silicon carbide matrix, somewhat like encasing the fuel in a diamond. Silicon carbide is used for tank armor and has an extremely high melting temperature, far beyond the heat generated by the fuel. It is particularly resilient to radiation and does not chemically interact with other materials in the reactor. If the pellet is fractured, the fuel particles can remain intact as they are smaller than the smallest fragments. The core is assembled with enough fuel and graphite blocks to produce heat through self-sustaining fission reactions. This fully ceramic core has the lowest power density of any commercial reactor ever, allowing it to easily dissipate excess heat. To power it up, control rods are withdrawn and the fission reactions can begin. But these reactions slow down at higher temperatures. So to keep producing power, the reactor has to be cooled. If cooling stops, the reactor automatically shuts down. Helium carries heat out of the nuclear core. It is a harmless, noble gas, completely unreactive and stable. And while somewhat inefficient, it is the safest coolant available. Now, the problem with nuclear fuel is that it continues to generate heat even after the reactor is powered down. It will continue to generate roughly 10% of the original heat for hours and days to come. And if it's not cooled, that heat will pile up. The challenge with nuclear has always been to ensure the reactor does not damage itself when cooling is lost. The MMR can dissipate all excess heat passively and harmlessly into the environment in any scenario. Like a warm puck, it cools off just by sitting there. No moving parts or fluids, no operator actions, just simple cooling by conduction and glowing. This means the reactor can tolerate extreme conditions and survive undamaged. It can deal with complete withdrawal of all control rods. It doesn't need power to operate cooling pumps or emergency systems. The MMR doesn't even need coolant or natural airflow to stay at safe temperatures. It doesn't really need very much at all. Instead of designing elaborate safety systems against particular scenarios, we've designed a reactor that is inherently safe no matter the events. The MMR harnesses the fuel's formidable energy while fully containing its radioactivity during all encountered conditions, be it normal operations, worst-case failures, or permanent storage.
estimation. But if you want precious metals, look at other investments. Again, those two charts I just showed you, you could have gained 1,300. So if you threw $1,000 at OKLO a year ago, you'd have what, 130,000 right now? How much extra PM could you buy? How many more precious metals could you buy with that extra $100,000+? Yeah, what, like 100,000 extra dollars of precious metals? That's the way I look at precious metals. I don't look at precious metals as, ooh, I'm just going to stick it and hold it here and not do nothing with it. No, it's an investment. It should be growing and working for you. And in saying that, that is why I like the gold to platinum play. Because when I get some free gold, if it's still worth the trade, I'll be trading it for platinum, because it'll be worth the trade, in my opinion, until platinum gets up about $2,500. Trading gold for platinum is still a good play, in my opinion. It's not financial opinion, it's my personal opinion. I have nothing to do with finances. I just see pathways and talk about them, and they just happen to more than not come true. I have been off on a couple, I guess. Actually, I don't really know. I haven't spoken about a lot because I don't talk about it unless I know about it. I've looked into a lot of things. Now, there are a lot of projects that I'm looking at that haven't taken off yet, but they will. And actually, let me pull up one. And this, I don't consider this a fail by no means. Where is it? Oh gosh, I gotta get it up. Okay, here we go. And actually, having said what I just said, this one's not as big of a winner, but dollar for dollar, pretty daggone big winner. Because we're only talking half a penny. But now let's go year for 1 year. Oh, wow, it's actually been... So I started talking about it somewhere around... Yeah, somewhere in here, in this area. I didn't realize it was actually way up here at one point in time at 7 cents. But yeah, I got a whole crap load of it at 3.5, somewhere in between here. We'll just call it, a little less than half a penny. And it's up, doing a lot worse than gold, silver, and platinum. But it's a different type of investment in and of the fact that it's a precious metals exploration company that's converting over to a mining company. They've already started the paperwork on doing that last year, and this year they've filed all the proper paperwork to make them a small mining company. So this small price that they have and that small percentage, that's because they're an exploration company. The more you stack up, in my personal opinion, the more you stack up on this, the better you're going to be. Because when it goes to a small mining company, and they're mining the platinum that they're exploring and documenting through drilling results, which I've brought you guys in the past, you just move that decimal point over 2, and then that'll probably be the price of it. So you got a easy 100x on that company, but it's going to pay dividends, and that's why I buy that. I buy that for dividends because that's what I like making money while not working. Now I got something else. I don't know if you guys would be interested in this. Since we went into the nanonuclear storage and the graphene, and the one similarity to both of those was the octagonal or B honeycomb shape. So this is Bob's Got Questions. He's only got 173 subscribers. So let's see what the hell Bob's got to say. Let's skip through all this crap. Okay, we'll start here. Shapes and efficiencies.
Wait, why is this 1 to 2 hours? Also, this might be below my grade level a little bit. Interesting. So that person made that point earlier that if you did triangles or squares or circles, there would be space in between. I mean, circles for sure would have a little space in between, but triangles and squares can be stacked. Look at these perfectly stacked shapes, and you could just build these out, and that would be... Hey, good point. Why aren't all the shapes just like random little squiggles? Bees can make more than one cell at a time? the point they're making here is that if you make a squiggle cell, the next bee that is going to build a cell would have to wait until the first one is finished to start building, which I feel like doesn't really track, because if you're both building a cell at the same time, you're going to get some squiggles. Like if you're just putting one bee puts some stuff here, the next bee just puts stuff right next to it, and then you just continue building. I feel like that would evolve a natural squiggle, but this is saying that everybody's working. They do this collectively, simultaneously, and constantly. So they're all building cells at the same time, independently of each other, equally spaced. Oh, by the way, isometric means roughly spherical or polyhedral. How does that work? How do bees build honeycomb in the first place? This is something I don't know that I would like to know and understand. Hold on, let me finish this first article. The points you're making are real bad. This is actually funny. I feel like this whole article is just bad. Are the insides of the cells not spherical? Because this diagram is showing, oh, the sphere.
Boy, did I screw up on that one. I thought he was going to be more scientific and not more stupid about it. But basically, what I was going to talk about was the 3 or 4 little videos I showed all had to do with geometrical formations, the sound with that guy saying that what the science of sound and geometry are, and the graphene, how it comes up in octagonal shape, and then the octagonal shape of the nanonuclear particles that they're putting in the carbon, which will be like a diamond shield to protect from radiation. It's all octagonal shape, and I was just bringing attention to the octagonal shape and its use of the geometric form of the octagon shape is universally used throughout different industries and insects and life forms, and there's a similarity proving that math is a universal concept. Now, having done that big weave, if you watched all of the videos, 3 to 8 minute videos showing that, you'll understand why I don't believe that 3A Atlas is any alien anything, because they would have already sent mathematical signals to us to giving us information, or our governments or world governments are not telling us that signals have been received and they're communicating with them, because I couldn't see an alien form coming to this planet or our solar system doing a flyby and not sending out signals of whether, trying to pick up certain chemical elements, whatever they're doing their flyby for, they'd be sending out signals. And no one's talked about signals coming out. They're all talking about nickels found without a carbon and all this other stuff. But they don't realize, or what they're not telling us, is it's supposedly from a universe that's older than our planet. So I am pretty sure whenever it formed, different chemical processes were going on in the life, 12, 14 billion years ago, to where we should not expect or anticipate it to be the same type of comet that we see that's a younger comet formed in the lifetime of the planet. So 2 reasons to be speculative of life, even though it is supposedly changing direction. Now, I only bring this analysis based off of information that we are allowed to have. I'm not stating that this is what it is, in my opinion. I'm saying from the information they are giving us, I would anticipate more information from an object if it had life on it. Not saying they have not participated in communications. I'm saying their government hasn't given us that. So all the information we are receiving tells me that it's just a weird comet. What's up, Pete? Because basically, through my studies of asteroids here in our Kuiper belt and the asteroid belt that's a little closer to Earth, it's smaller, a lot less asteroids on it. Most of them are based, their centers are based off of platinum and iron. So the fact that no one's talked about platinum or iron on A3 Atlas is another indicator telling me that it was definitely formed from a different galaxy a long time ago, and it's just going to bring newer understanding of science. and understanding of the formation of planets and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, as far as the formation of planets, there are astrophysicists out there stating that the 3i Atlas is big enough to be what they call a planet builder, meaning it is big enough if it gets caught inside a star's sun's gravitational pull, it is a large enough of an object to start having a gravity of its own once it's in a circular gravitational formation around whatever star it ends up around, that it could actually be the genesis of a planet starting asteroid. So there's still a lot of speculation as to what it is with the information that the governments are giving us. Obviously, we all know that they don't give us all the information, but I don't freak out because if they don't give, because then okay, they're not giving you all the information. So now what do? You speculate. Well, that's not good. That can lead you down roads that'll be harmful financially, health-wise, psychologically, all kinds of things. So why bother with it? Wait until you get the facts before you react. In my opinion, you have a lot more stable of mental health and basic happiness looking at it from that perspective, knowing that there's more, but unless you got security clearances to get the information, all you can do is speculate. And speculation, well, unless you do really, really heavy research, probably going to be wrong. And if you're wrong on your speculation and you act on it, then you've wasted your time, energy, effort on something that's wrong. And that's unproductive or not productive to your life here. And with things that are going on geopolitically on this planet, I would say that if I was a leader of a country, I would take a bizarre comment like that and I'd make an issue out of it to divert my people's attention from whatever the hell I was doing with them so I could get away with it, cover it up, do whatever before it was over with, focusing their attention on this cool little comment that we've never seen before. Is that also not speculative possibility? See, so you can take speculation for whatever it is, but I'm gonna wait till we get more facts because I don't trust our governments. And just looking at what Trump said to the UN, you see why I don't trust our governments? The United Nations, who America, our tax-paying dollars fund like 60% of the UN, and they took $300+ million and fed it to people to infiltrate our country illegally. So basically, we paid for our own infiltration of our own country. You and I did. American taxpayers paid for it. It's like, wow. I'm surprised that's not a bigger news story. I mean, we all knew something like that was happening. That's why Trump wanted to pull us out of the UN in the first 4 years he was in. Biden got us back in. I wonder why. Well, he probably made a lot of money off of letting 1 million people come through American southern border by the UN alone. I know it's not a lie. It's national security, and you have certain security clearances. They can't tell us everything, brother. If they told us everything, we would already have gotten into World War III and destroyed ourselves. We have been to the point of World War III so many times in our history since World War II that's been diverted or averted by lies and schemes. I mean, who knows the truth behind Kennedy getting shot? He might have been leading us to a nuclear war had that not happened. We'll never really know, but if everyone knew, then we probably would have gotten into nuclear war if indeed that was the scenario that stopped that possible scenario from happening, for which we don't know enough about to do anything more than speculate on. So, speculation can go lots of different ways. And I can see where sometimes leaders do have to lie to preserve peace. Say you have an assassin come in and try to assassinate your leader, and your leader covers up the assassination, and you get a peace accord with the government that sent that assassin, and then you're good friends 10 years later. Would have never happened if you exposed the assassination attempt. So there is, if you want to speculate out things, there is a good time to lie to the multitudes to prevent more harm than good. There's bad times more than not, but still, you can find there's flip sides to every coin. I mean, it's all scenario driven. Oh man, that's why life's complicated. Try to make it simple as possible. Move out in the fucking country and simplify your life. It's better that way if the rest of the world didn't have to interact with us, which their decisions that directly a lot of times affect our lives, no matter if we go out and live in a country or not. So you kind of sort of stuck at world political events and staying on top of them. And that's why I say, if you don't like the direction things are going, get a lot of group like-minded people, go to one area, start a town. You'd be amazed at what kind of laws you can start if you start your own town, and what kind of legal protections you have if your laws are lawful and legal, and you have the same like-minded people and set up the charter of that town. You can do a lot of things if you want. If you don't like the way things are going, there are ways to change it if you want. But most people are into, I'll just talk about it and complain, because it's easier. Then you get some people that get into power and change things, and we bitch at them because they're not perfect. Huh? I'm telling you, I didn't vote for Trump, but what he said at the UN, I 100% agree with. And I hope to get answers, because, we know the vax wasn't a vax. And quite frankly, my mama's life was taken by that vax. So I kind of sort of have a personal issue with it and want to know. But you guys never knew anything about that because it's personal. And yeah, I do want to know these things, and I don't give a rat's ass who tells us the truth, as long as we eventually get to it. And politics isn't cut and dry. You can't just come out with the truth. You got to work it. You got to work the truth out, because there's lots of powerful people that don't want that truth out, and they have opposition to that, and it leads to getting shot. And we've had a lot of that here lately. But anyhow, been going for an hour and 6 minutes. As usual, at the end of it, I give my personal perspective on stuff, so you people can take your personal perspectives and let me know what they are, if you so choose. And also, as usual, I have you can come join the panel and talk personally. Video, it's pinned to the top, but since no one's taking advantage of that, it's been an hour and 7 minutes. So I'm going to end this impromptu live stream. Main point of it was the truth's getting out there, guys. 4 years ago, we would have never anticipated the truth of COVID and its originations to come out. And I just showed you a video of Trump saying exactly what all of us knew. So the truth is coming out. It takes a while. It takes a while, man. There's a heavy webbing of millions of millionaires and billionaires that are spinning webs to protect themselves and their families during this whole thing. It's not going to be quick, but it will happen. And our goal should be not to have civil war, because that's to their benefit, not ours. And that's basically the point of this. It doesn't benefit us to go after each other. It benefits the people that caused this crap if we go after each other. With that being said, I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.